So aside from non-response being an issue, because I feel like very few people do actually respond to something, again, unless it's like favorable or not favorable. Like those people in the middle, they don't really respond. But to me, response bias is a big issue. Okay, so response bias occurs when there is a consistent pattern of inaccurate responses to a survey question. So when there is response bias present, something is causing the responder to answer the question in a certain way, right? And again, a lot of it is here in this note. So characteristics of the interviewer, so who it might be, wording of the question, respondents being truthful, lack of anonymity, which means your identity is known or not known, and many other factors can lead to response bias. So think about, if the principal were to ask you a question versus maybe the guidance counselor, right? You might have different, levels of comfortability with who you're talking to. Same thing with like if your parent talks to you versus your friend's parent or something like that. You know what I mean? So again, or the wording of the question. Maybe people put some like phrase at the beginning to make you feel bad if you answer in a certain way, right? So it is what it is. But this is a big deal, response bias. So ways to keep bias to a minimum: always make a random sample, avoid these 3 negative sampling issues, and then it's always a good idea to test out your survey in a small group before you do it to the entire group, right? So check to see if you get any of these types of bias back. Okay, so let's take a look at the next slide. Yes, example 3. Did you wash your hands? Oh, how appropriate. So it says, what percent of Americans wash their hands after using the bathroom? Well, better be 100% now, right? It depends on how you collect the data. In a telephone survey of 1,006 U.S. adults, 96% said they always wash their hands after using a public restroom. An observational study of 5,028 adults in public restrooms told a different story. Only 85% of those observed washed their hands after using the restroom. Explain the results of the 2 studies are so different. Oh my goodness. Right. Better be 100% right now. So let's take a look at the answer here. So something like this. So we have to look at the different methods, right? This was a telephone survey where I ask you and you answer. This was an observational survey where you were just observed. No one talked to you, right? Which is kind of creepy in a restroom, but maybe it was just by the sink or by the door, right? So you could see the sink. So it says, when asked directly, and again, this is on the phone, so this is the telephone, many people might lie. So this is the responders being untruthful about always washing their hands, about always washing, sorry. There's no H after the W, not a silent H. No washing, about always washing their hands after using the bathroom. Hands after using the bathroom. Because they want to appear to have good hygiene. Because they want to appear to have good hygiene. Now, this might be a personal opinion, but I would just say because it's gross not to, right? Especially nowadays, right? You wash your hands. Takes 20 seconds, right? Takes 20 seconds. So when people are only observed, the proportion who wash their hands, notice it's proportion, right? Because we're looking at percentages, right? Anytime you see a percentage, that's a proportion. So percent means proportion. The proportion of, or who, the proportion who wash their hands will be smaller. and much closer to the true proportion of all U.S. adults who wash their hands after using the bathroom. Trying my best to write legibly, but I write too fast sometimes. So you get the idea. Okay? So when people are only observed, the proportion who wash their hands will be smaller and much closer to the true proportion of all U.S. adults who wash their hands after using their bathroom. So again, it's this idea of, actions speak louder than words, right? When no one is looking, what do you truly do? Or when you don't think anybody is looking, what do you truly do? Versus what do you want to appear like? Okay, so that's response bias. All right, great. So do your best with this homework, and we'll talk to you later.